You've really done it this time. Hold still. I need to get the dirt out. We're probably going to have to stitch it up, too. You're being too reckless, you know it? You can't keep going on like this. You'll get us both thrown into the arena. I think we need to stop for a while. I know you don't want to. I don't want to. I know what's at stake. But we're getting dangerously close to getting caught. And then we won't be able to help anyone. Not even ourselves at that point. People are going to die no matter what we do. But if we get caught, you know what they'll do to us. And then we can't save anyone. You know, when you came to me 2 years ago with this grand Robin Hood scheme of yours, I thought you were absolutely insane. I still do, but you convinced me. It's barbaric, the way they treat us like trash. I was sick of it. I was sick of watching people suffer, and I was sick of watching children starve to death. I'd always been so focused on surviving, living day to day, hour to hour, chewing on grass and getting robbed and beaten for a handful of sunflower seeds. I had no one to look out for me, and I had no one to look out for. And then you came along and made me quite the offer. You gave me half a loaf of bread and asked me to partake in your black market dealings. I thought you were a trigger pusher or a powder dealer, but no. You were into something far more different and far more difficult. You gave me the spill on how people were starving because they couldn't afford to eat. People were dying because they were sick and couldn't afford to get better. You weren't dealing in weapons or drugs. You were dealing food and medicine. You were taking the things that no one could ever afford, obtaining them in one way or another, and you were reselling them or trading them for practically nothing. It was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard of someone doing. So I took my half a loaf of bread and I left. But as I walked back down the winding streets to my rusted-through hovel, I noticed myself looking around more than usual. Looking at these people around me and really seeing them for the first time. I'd always been so focused on me, how I was going to make it through the day, that I never had the time or the energy to see how anyone else would. Then I saw these kids, a boy no more than 10 slumped against a tree half dead, and a girl no older forcing him to chew something that looked like a root she'd pulled out of the ground. They were orphans, of course. Tyla and Roan were their names. I brought them home with me and gave them the bread. I couldn't have given it to them outside because someone would have killed them for it. That's when I felt the weight of your words, and that's why I came around. And here we are, 2 years later. But it's been getting rough these past 6 months. Regulations are tighter, security is tighter, the products are harder to obtain, because there's just not as much of it out there anymore. And what is there is being kept locked up tighter than it ever has been. You going off after it, desperate and half-cocked, is going to get you killed. I know you were trying to help that woman, but you can't go around picking fights and drawing attention to yourself. To us. Patrols are already casting us skeptic glances every time we pass by. We've had a good run, and we can still help people, but not in the same way. We have to figure something else out. What? What do you mean you signed up? Signed up for what? You signed up for the games? Why would you do that? You can't go to the games. You can't go. You're not a gladiator, you're a hot-headed thief. You can't possibly think that this is a good idea. They already agreed. Agreed to what? To take you to the training grounds. How could you not tell me? How could you not even ask me what I think? How could you just leave? After everything we've done and after everything we've been through, you're just going to go? To what? Fight in the Colosseums? I know things are hard, but we can figure it out. We always do. We always figure it out. Just don't go. You'll die. You could die before you even make it to an arena. I know how much money is in it. I don't care about that. I don't want money. I want you here. We don't need it. We'll find another way to survive. We always have, you and me. Is there really nothing I can say to convince you to stay? Then I'm coming with you. We're a team. You can't just leave me behind. I won't let you. I know they need us. They need us. This was always your operation. How am I supposed to do it without you? How am I supposed to take care of these people alone? They won't look to me the way they look to you. How can I help them when you're gone? Okay. If I have to, I will. I've always had your back, and you've always had mine. It's going to be hard to carry on the plan without you, but I'll try. For as long as you fight, so shall I. I'll do the best that I can with what I have. I promise. Don't worry. So, they've agreed to take you through the training grounds. When do you leave? So soon. That's barely any time at all. You should have told me, but I guess I see why you didn't. I would have had much more of a chance to stop you then. So, you're going to training. I assume the plan is to come through top of the lineup. Then what? You'll need to be good enough to catch the eye of a dominus. They'll buy you, they'll own you, they'll hold the deed to your flesh. They put you through the arenas, through the games. If you're good enough, you can keep going on to the majors, battle in the big coliseums. Ideally, start to generate enough revenue to buy yourself from your dominus. You have to pay off the initial debt before you can get anything for yourself. They'll split it with you, probably 60-40 if you're really good. You can start stashing it up. Eventually, if you're lucky, you'll become a fan favorite. You'll become a recognizable figure. Merchants will want to present you with sponsorships. Get enough of them, and you can retire from the arena and become a poster child for whatever trading company offers you the most. Until a new favorite comes along. If you haven't blown all your money on booze or powder or courtesans like most of the victors, then you'll be all set to live out the rest of your lavish life, hopefully not getting caught up in a stupor of your past glory-gory days. Maybe become a trainer yourself. Of course, that's the ultimate, hopeful scenario. But in reality, it's not very likely. Very few gladiators do that well. More likely, you won't be able to get that far. You'll be sold into slavery if your dominus decides you've become a lost cause or investment. From there it becomes very difficult to pay off your debt. Or maybe you do well in the arena and let it go to your head like it usually does for gladiators, and you end up addicted to powder or liquor. If you do have any sponsorships, they'll be pulled. You might be able to get by on your recognition for a while, but mostly through the pockets of lonely, rich housewives or husbands. You'll continue to spiral down until you're wandering the back streets, trying to figure out how you got there. It's not that I don't have faith in you. I just don't want you to get any ideas of grandeur stuck in your head. If you've got your head in the clouds, you might not have one on your shoulders for very long. And no matter what happens, you know the odds that we'll ever see each other again are definitely not in our favor. Even if you survive, once you get a taste for that, how could you ever bear to come back here? And I wouldn't want you to. If you can get out, stay out. If you can have a chance to live, really live, then take it. Leave this, leave me behind. there's no hope for me to get out of here. I'll do my best to survive and take care of our people. But if one of us can make it, it's you. And I want you to. The games are cruel. They've only grown more violent and barbaric over time. But they serve the same purpose as they did thousands of years ago. It keeps people complacent enough with their degraded lives. It gives them an outlet to their anger, their frustration, instead of turning it on those who may actually deserve it. The games have endured for thousands of years, and they'll continue to endure for thousands more. It's who we are. We need them, especially now. Resources are low, times are hard, everywhere, not just here. People will flock to the Colosseums in droves every single day. You do have one advantage, though. People love to see the common regioners participate, and you can't get much more common than being from the wasted region. People love an underdog. If you do well in training, you're sure to have multiple offers. But let's not talk about it anymore for tonight. Let's just enjoy the time we have left while we still can.